Finding balance in life is an essential skill. You really experience it every day. Every day you have to make decisions that reflect on your life. For example, what you eat. What you eat really reflects on your health. But this cookie looks so good, I just can't resist it. That's why we decided to create a framework to simplify your life so you can focus on the really important stuff.
Boring!
Today we're going to be talking about finding balance between work and life. This is a really important topic, especially in our fast-paced society. And I myself really like learning by example. So in today's video we're going to have two parts. First part is going to be more theoretical, where we're going to explore some of the theoretical concepts and really understand what we're doing. And in the second part, we're going to take a real life situation and try to see what we can actually optimize in order to achieve a certain goal. But before we jump into this video, I just want to make a quick disclaimer. We are not licensed medical professionals, and we are really in no position to give you advice on how to improve or fix your mental or medical state. If you have any medical issues like depression, mental harassment, or any other concerns, please talk to licensed medical professionals. And remember to take everything that you see on the internet with a grain of salt. With that said, please enjoy the rest of the video. In order to fix our issues, we first need to identify them, because I have seen tons of people trying to make some adjustments to their lives without a solid plan, and let's just say it failed. So before you make any adjustments, really think about the problem you're trying to solve. The problem may seem quite simple. Oh, my colleagues are just toxic, they don't want to talk to me, they're not friendly. And you think that the solution to this would be finding a new job. But you don't really see the underlying issues of that. You see, almost in 90% of those cases, your colleagues are actually not the problem, but you are. And in this case, this also opens up a bigger problem of understanding, receiving, and working on the feedback you get. And if this situation happens with more than one instance or with a couple of people, then you should really think about reflecting on yourself. Now, you might be thinking, how is the relationship with my colleagues actually correlate with being effective at work? Let's just say significantly. Your coworkers can really be helpful to you, and it doesn't even matter if you are a manager, if you're a junior or a senior at your company, because great communication setup is a key to quick task resolution. If you're, let's say, friends with your colleague, you can just simply ask them if they have worked on the task before. Maybe they got some tips for you, maybe they can even take and do these tasks for you. And I actually had the exact same situation once in my experience when my manager gave me some big task and I didn't have any experience at the time with the technology used on that task. And I was thinking that this would take me forever to do this. And I just wanted to quickly chat with my colleague to maybe get a better understanding of the task. And he actually told me that he worked on this same exact technology and he knows exactly how to do this. And he just did the task for me in 2 hours, when I thought it's gonna take weeks to make it. That was really insane for me. When I did this, I was a junior software engineer at a software engineering company. And of course, it was easy for me to ask for help since everybody wanted to help juniors at the time. But even now, when I'm senior and there are people actually above my level, I still ask them to do something for me. And it's not like your coworkers doing charity, because you can also offer them something in return. You can offer to help them with their task. And you can do this right away, or you can do it a bit later. And this actually opens up another opportunity, which boosts your whole team effectiveness. Because if everybody is working on something they have experience with or they're more familiar with, your whole team efficiency actually boosts. And the time that you saved, you can actually spend it on achieving some personal goals. However, there is something that is really ruining the productivity, and this is meetings. A study highlighted in Harvard Business Review article actually highlights that over 90% of employees experience a so-called meeting hangover state, which is a period characterized by diminished focus, lowered motivation, and decreased productivity. And this is especially bad if you're not in a managerial role, but a software engineer, for example, because you spend time preparing for a meeting, you spend time on the meeting, and you spend time recovering from the meeting. And while you do all of this, you lose a focus on your task. And it can be quite hard to actually go back and understand what you were working on, especially if you didn't make any comments before you actually jumped into the meeting. But we all know that at least some part of those meetings are really important and we can't just ignore them. So, how do we then keep the focus? So, in order to minimize the hangover effect, try doing the following. Establish meeting free day. Now, there are some companies that do this on a company level. For example, one of my previous companies had established one Friday a month where everybody just focused on their tasks and we had no meetings. But of course, not every company do that. So you can try to talk to your manager, to talk to your colleagues, and at least establish this day for your team, for example. Yes, this will only reduce the number of meetings you have within your team, but it still can bring more focus to your work. And when you're working at this day, just really try to be focused and do as much as you can. And this will help you to actually get more stuff done because you can do some of your personal stuff when you're in the hangover effect on the other days. And this especially works well when you're working from home because you can do some chores around the house when you're in this hangover state. This will relax your mind and this will also get some work done around the house so you don't have to do this after your actual work hours. On the note of resting your mind, there are actually a few types of resting. There are physical activities like stretching or going to the gym, and this works especially well if you need to rest your mind after a long day of meetings, because when you're doing some physical exercises, your mind just turns off and really focuses on doing some exercise so you don't think about the work. Then there are creative hobbies like drawing or building with Lego. This really opens up your creative side, let's say, and really gives you this rest of and freedom to create whatever you want. And there is, of course, socializing. Now, socializing may mean going out with the friends to a pub, drinking some beers, or playing games with the boys. Now, this may really be beneficial because games actually help you rest your mind and they actually improve your strategic skills, your teamwork abilities, and help you create new friendships. And I myself really like playing games, so I think this is a pretty cool way to rest after a long day. Oh, and by the way, in Riot, a company that made League of Legends, they have designated space in their office just for gaming. Just look at this space, this is insane. Personally, I like to mix up those types because I want to both try something new and have some fun. Now, there's just one important thing that we haven't touched yet, and this is working overtime. Now, I want to be clear and say that not everybody has a choice to actually not work overtime, because there are some jobs that really require that. But researchers found that if you won't do it on a daily basis, if you're not going to do it consistently, then it should be fine. In fact, the World Health Organization found that people who are working over 55 hours per week have a 35% higher chance of dying of stroke and 17% higher rate of dying of heart disease. And to be honest, it doesn't really have a sense to work overtime for a consistent period of time. Here, look at the graph. You can clearly see that over a longer period of time, working overtime can actually lead you to do less by staying at your job more. So please, when you are thinking about staying at your job longer, and especially if those hours are not paid, please just go home and relax. This will help you in the long run. Now, I know this was quite a big part, but this was really important for me to actually explain those concepts to you. And now we can safely get to our most exciting practical part.
Okay, guys, so let's start with our practical session now. So we have a situation here. A guy named Alex is a mid-level project manager at a fast-paced tech startup. His days are packed with back-to-back meetings, impromptu decisions, and urgent email chains. As a result, his work days are long, productivity is fragmented, and his personal life feels squeezed. And in order to finish all of the tasks in time, he usually works overtime. Yet Alex has a dream. He wants to run a half marathon within the next year. A goal that represents reclaiming time for himself and achieving a major personal milestone. Okay, so I think this is a quite typical example in a situation like Alex. And to be honest, I actually took this example from one of my colleagues from my previous companies. And I've actually worked with Alex. And I'm going to share with you exactly what we did with Alex in order for him to achieve this goal. Okay, so first things first, let's define what goals do we actually want to achieve. And let's set up a key takeaways of this story. So firstly, we have unbalanced workload. As we've seen, Alex has back-to-back meetings and productivity is fragmented and he has urgent emails. This all contributes to the unbalanced workload. What does it mean? Well, it basically means that it is hard to plan the day and Alex has to stay in focus all the time. Okay, so that's one takeaway. Then the next takeaway is work-life imbalance. As we've seen, Alex usually works overtime, which contributes to exactly that. And work-life imbalance implies that Alex has less time to spend on his personal goal. And also, as a result of it, we have the reduced productivity, which we talked about in our theoretical session. Now, this is really important because reduced productivity actually causes Alex to do less work. And as a result of that, he needs to stay more overtime. So this is like a closed circle because we have overtime, which leads to reduced productivity, which in result gives us more overtime. And we have this infinite loop. More overtime gives us less productivity, which in turn implies that we do less work, which gives us more overtime work, and so on and so on. And we have our personal goal, the thing that we want to achieve. So now I think we have everything that we need to actually create a plan for the next year for Alex to actually achieve his goal. Let's move on to the plan of action. Now, the key to success here and pretty much in anything in life is to analyze the current situation, change something, then analyze the change and adjust until we receive the success. And we're gonna use that framework to build Alex's timetable and to see what we can actually optimize in order to achieve a goal. So as of now, Alex doesn't have enough time to do the trainings for his marathon. So first things first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna analyze. Alex will review his schedule. He will record peak performance and peak unfocused times in his time schedule. And we will see at which days he is most performant, and we will try to correlate the number of meetings with the peak performance to derive the most optimal amount of meetings per day to still achieve the peak performance. Now, when we identified that, we are moving on to the change stage, which is going to be on the second month. In this stage, Alex will try to set the clear agenda for all of his meetings. He will try to reduce duration of the meetings as much as possible, and he will focus on offline communication. Now, the most important rule here is that Alex will try to resolve all of the things he can without actually talking to people. Maybe writing an email or chatting in Teams chat. All of this takes much less time, requires much less focus, but actually gives you the most results. And you can also keep a clear record of your conversation so you can come back later and get at the context of it. In addition to that, Alex will also try to set up no meetings day, which we talked about in our theoretical session, and he will try to set up the focus time on each day to focus on his most important tasks. Now, on the third month, we will try to execute everything that we did on the second month and adjust. Try to see which days work best, what approaches works best, with whom some of the approaches don't work, with whom some of the approaches work best, and we will try to just go back and forth, receive feedback, and try to adjust the schedule. And from this point on, from the second month on, all we need to do is to actually refine, and refine. Oh, and by the way, here we also would want to share our best practices and best findings with the team because, as I said before, the actual team productivity also influences your productivity. And if whole team does better, then you are gonna do better too, and you're gonna have much more time for yourself. Now, after this, Alex should have reached his half marathon goal. And we will congratulate him with achieving that. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. As always, stay balanced.